and I run one of the biggest kimchi factories in Singapore.
And this is my story.
Hello.
So it all began when my family moved here to Singapore to run their own hair salon business when I was 8. And I went to a local school for a while and then international school called UWC until I finished IB, which is equivalent to A levels. From there, my family was having a little bit of financial trouble with the hair salon. It wasn't doing very, very well because my father didn't really get to manage the business that well. Should I say that? Okay, it's fine. When all my friends went to university or army, I took some break to do my own like forex trading, stock trading and stuff like that. Then I went to national service in Singapore where I served as a sergeant trainer. And during those times, because my camp was all the way at the west side near Tuas, which is a Pasir Laba camp, my sister, in the rush of things, had to leave this country just for like 3 to 6 months, and that's when I took over her fashion business. It was quite prolific at the time, so I would do training until 5 or 6, and then I would go and take a taxi to Orchard, which at the time was Takashima in Scott Square, and I would check in on the staff and stuff like that. But it was like a very high-end fashion, which I didn't really understand, but I just kind of, that was how I got started into managing my own stall. That eventually, I think 3 or 6 months down the road, that business failed because my sister was no longer in it, and when I was standing in the stall, I couldn't sell a single piece. Like I think I got really close to selling one piece. Like the auntie was like, "Oh, do I like it?" And I was like, I was like a young kid, so I was like, "I guess it looks good on you. I don't know." And then yeah, she didn't buy in the end. So nobody really bought my piece when I was selling women's clothing, and then from that experience I learned so much about how to run a business, how to do things that you're really good at. And moving on from that, we had to do. My father asked me to do like a gap year to do my own thing because the salon wasn't doing very, very well at that point in time after I finished army. And me being a very competitive person, my best friend at the time was telling me that he was doing graphic design, and then me not knowing anything about graphic design or whatever, because I just came from like a very sheltered background with just an exposure to IB, which was just very not design focused, right? It was either arts or math or science. I was like, okay, fine, and then I searched on this Google thing called user experience design. I thought it was just user design, which is what I read, and I was like, oh, I want to learn graphic design, so I think it should be this class. And that was the class of 2018, where I met really, really, really helpful people who are doing mid-career switches. So actually it turned out user design isn't really graphic design. It was very focused on research. It was very focused on understanding users and customers, and then merging this data to create a solution that really, really makes customers happy. And from there, that's when I started to do my own agency coming out of it. So I had a really good friend called Jason. He is like the creative lead for SPH at one point, and he is now like one of the very higher positions at Lazada Group. And I think looking back at it, he told me like, Jack, go for it. It'd be a great opportunity for you to try an agency. But now that I've kind of matured a little bit, I was like 20 back then, 21 back then. I didn't really understand why he told me to do it, knowing that I kind of sucked at my work, right? I had no experience, no graphic design work, and then why would this senior 40-year-old, 38 at 35 at that point in time, like with 15 years of experience doing creative design, why in the world would he recommend a kid, right, who's gonna fail miserably, ask me to do it? And then at that point I didn't understand. I thought like, whoa, this guy sees my potential. And then when I asked him like a year later, he said, because I know that even if I told you to not do it, you would do it anyway, so why go for the hassle? So fast forward 5-6 years now, we're still really, really good friends. We still talk to each other like maybe once in a couple of months. We meet up, we have dinner, and he is such a good mentor to me, even though he doesn't really offer the mentorship. I force my menteeness on him. And yeah, so just along the way as I do business, I think a lot of people has helped me along the way. And nobody really tells you like they will help you or they will grow you, right? But when you ask for help, I think there's a lot of people that are willing to, more than happy to give, more than happy to teach. And so that's how I found some really, really good mentors or really, really good friends, I would say, that helped me along the way and teach me or guide me a little bit as I navigate this business. So I ran my first business. What did I do? I just ran an agency to help my family first. So we were running like a hair salon business. So I was running an agency to support my family, and I was doing some grants as well. So my employees were very cheap, um, with the grant obviously. And then we were doing some e-commerce stuff for my father's stuff, and then we were doing mostly hair salon. And then that's when COVID came. Okay, so how Jin Kimchi started was during COVID. There was a lockdown, and I really liked my mom's kimchi, and because I really liked it, I asked my mom to make it with me at home. So it started as a home-based business, sending to customers. And then the first month, we hit like a super good revenue of like $100,000 in the first month. And I was like, oh my God, I'm a genius. I must know everything about digital marketing. I must be so smart, right? So when you don't know, you get the most confident. And that's when I thought of doing my own factory, which was a huge journey, step ahead. I wouldn't say it's a mistake. I think without the factory, I wouldn't be here today. And then that's how Jin Kimchi was started. And then that's how I built my first factory back in 2020, August, around that period. So you may ask, how did I build a factory out of no knowledge? It was simple. I just asked my friends around for help. So the best friend that I had a competitiveness on about the design, his father runs one of, I think, five or six central kitchens in Singapore, called On and On Catering, with his brother called Brian Go, and his father is Mr. Go. So I would call him up. I'll be like, "Hey, uncle, can you please introduce me some people that can help me advise?" And then he would, he would just give me a call like 30 minutes. Hey Jack, do this. Hey Jack, do that. Hey uncle, can I please go to your house and talk to you about it? Can you please help me out? And he would. So that's actually how my first factory was built, and on the road of just not knowing stuff, but making it things along the way. So nothing was ever perfect. Nothing is perfect in my company, but that's how the first factory happened. And fast forward to 2 years, um, we've been the factory. I didn't really recognize how expensive it would be to run, and it was actually a huge cost center for us where we lost hundreds of thousands of dollars running it and just running the show. So e-commerce was already on the downtrend. People were doing live. I think I wasn't really getting into the live. I didn't think there was any value in it because our product range was very small, only Panchan, right? So I didn't have a good product fit and fit in the market, and I also didn't have a really good offering as well, or the wide range, or neither the connection to do what it is. So a lot of things I was very new at, and I couldn't really build the company to what it had to be. And that's when NTUC approached us, because one of the marketing girl was a fan of Jin Kimchi, and they offered us to do a food stall at Fernvale Hawker Center when they were just opening a local center. So, like food court, food stall was something that I was thinking of. I was inspired by Wok Hei. And I was like, I want to do kimchi fried rice. I want to do kimchi fried rice. And then we tried it at Little India, Tekka Road, for like a little pop-up. We spent a bit of money. It was okay. We didn't really lose any money. We didn't really make any money either. But it was a test to show like, oh, kimchi fried rice, just buy kimchi fried rice is not enough to sell huge volume or make sense as a financial business model, and we must go full-fledged. So that's when we tendered for NTUC Hawker Center, and we were very lucky to get our first outlet. And that is when we met Celine. So Celine is like the operation manager and the head of strategy for the new projects for NTUC Food Fair Group, which manages Hawker Center and stuff like that. And she being in this field for such a long time, she had a very good grasp of pricing, menu offering, and stuff like that. So we worked together very closely to get our first set of pricing, which was like $6 for kimchi stew, like $7.20, $7.60 for kalbi pork belly set, and like what do customers really want, right, out of a hawker center or out of a Korean food stall in Singapore. And that's how we got our pricing, and that's how we started our business. And the first 2 months, it was such a bad time. Like, I would go to the stall every day, and I would cook, and we would do a meeting. We would do every meeting every day to fix what is our SOP, how can we cook, how can we serve our customers faster. And that was like, we would end the day at 11, come back to work at 9, 8, right? So it was a really good time for us to really learn, and I'm really grateful for the team that kind of joined me in that point in time. I think none of them has stayed in the company so far, so that's a bit sad, but that's how the company grew, with our really good core team with the feedback. And then came a bigger problem where we were not making enough revenue and profit for us to run this business at this price point. and the factory and our infrastructure costs, and e-commerce being going down like consistently or just maintaining. It was not enough to pay our HQ, it was not enough to pay our operation staff as well. So that's when I had to open more. And once we hit 4 outlets in Singapore, I think it was at Punggol or Ghim Moh Link, which was like a third or fourth outlet. It turned out that like our workers would cook at like 3 p.m. They would try to blast freeze it immediately or cool it down as fast as possible, and then the driver would send it from 6 or 7 all the way 6 or 7 to the outlet because there was not enough power in our factory. And that's when I realized that I had to move our operations or increase operations so that we can do more. But that also meant that we had more skin in the game, not in a good way, but we had to scale up faster because bigger infrastructure, bigger costs, bigger factory, more capex into the business meant I had to do more volume to make it up for the cost that will be incurred into the P&L. And so that's how Jin Kimchi had to open around 7 or 6 outlets within this year of 2024, and now we are healthy, we are growing, and we are more focused on what we are good at. So we still offer authentic Korean food prices, and we can still do it at this price for now, even though we're going to revise the pricing soon. Mainly because we have to do registration for GST as our company, going over the revenue that is legally required to do a GST. So that's the main reason why we are kind of choosing to raise price, because it's just a GST thing for us. We are currently, so how we manage to save our company and how we manage to build out infrastructure, it's something that I didn't really learn, something that I just kind of figured out along the way, which was to do direct import of the business. So as every part of the business has middlemen, distributors, wholesalers, importers and exporters, and agents, right? If you can cut these people out, you can save more money. But because our business is already so lean, already so low price and low margin, we have to find ways to innovate and find ways to make money back, and that's make it fast. And that's through bigger volume, fast, so that we can import. Because when you go to these companies like in Korea or in China and you want to import like just 200 kilo, 100 kilo, they wouldn't say yes because it's a bit too small for their volume and they don't really want to waste their time. So minimally, our sauce is a 15 ton, I think. The sauce that we imported in from Korea was actually a 10 tons, so about 8,000 kilos. That costed us around like $60,000-$70,000 in cash, which was very, very painful. And on the other hand, we have like chili powder. We import our own chili powder, our own Korean salt. We import our own Korean ingredients so that we can bring down the cost. And maybe other businesses would still do the same, but they just have like better profit margin. But for us, because we're still a new brand, we're still relatively young in the market, and we're trying to gain market share, we are foregoing some of these net profits, some of these operating profits, by giving our customers our value for money. We're probably still half of the price for the same value that we give to our customers. Just that I think Korean restaurants are playing the service game, whereas I'm just playing the purely food quality game. And for quality, because we directly import, we directly manufacture, we can guarantee our customers that quality without having to go through distributors or wholesalers who can give you a bit lesser quality and stuff like that. So that's how we guarantee our best quality for value. And then I think for Jin Kimchi, it's always going to be built on value for money. So in the beginning, it was a premium kimchi brand. We were selling $14, $11 per 400 grams, and now we're entering to the supermarket brand, which is about $8.90 for 400 grams, which is a little higher than the market. But we are one of 3 kimchi factories in Singapore that actually manufacture, and we are probably the only one that use mostly Korean ingredients for our kimchi, for our kimchi production. And that brings me to today, which is Jin Kimchi is 11 outlets strong. With we produce about 1 ton of kimchi, meat products, and just stuff in general every single day. And we are currently making around 30 tons to 25 tons every month for our own use. Mostly it's our own use. What's our next step moving forward? I think Jin Kimchi has to grow bigger, regional, and I just had an inspiration from Ippudo. Ippudo has 200 outlets all across the world, and they are the most well-known brand in the world for ramen. And I want to be the most well-known brand for Korean food. So obviously there are people like Ponchon who plays this game, and they're a bit older veterans as well. And
I kind of want to see if Jin Kimchi can compete. I I am curious. So it's not gonna be just purely a kimchi brand. It's not gonna be purely a panchan brand. But I want Jin Kimchi to encapsulate Korean culture. For me, I see Jin Kimchi as a vehicle of marketing our Korean culture to the world more than just being a food company. So eventually, I would my dream for this purpose of this YouTube channel that I'm trying to make and the social media is so that I can hopefully leverage my platform. People get to know who is behind Jin Kimchi, how we're growing, and at the end of the day, I want to find more collaborations with different brands, Korean brands, Singaporean brands, or regional brands. And I really really want to work with Korean government to bring Korean culture all across the world so that one more person can appreciate K-pop, one more person can appreciate Korean culture, and one more person can appreciate the way we do things, the food we eat, and that is my biggest mission with Jin Kimchi, as of now, and my life. And so when someone asks me, Jack, what makes you happy, or like why do you stop, or why do you push on? I don't think money is a success indicator, and neither is a good mission to grow anything. I do like expensive things. I do like nicer cars. I do like nicer food. But I don't really like to measure my success over money. And I don't really like people that measure their success over money. I think through this journey, I've met really, really motivated people. And I've really met good people. And I've also mentored good employees to help me along the way. My purpose in this journey and this life that I have, very lucky to have it, is that I want to give back to the community. I want to feed the people of the world a bit more affordable food, and then hopefully help the world and help the market move, because I think Korean food has been quite stagnant in terms of Singapore. It's always been a high priced. One of the outlet managers was saying like, I don't eat Korean food every day, Jack. Why do you want to do it in hawker center? Well, that's the problem then, right? We have to make you eat every single week, right? If you're eating it once a month or once in 2 or 3 months why? And then he would say it's expensive, it's like it's that. Then I want to solve those problems. I don't want to say, here's a status quo, here's how the market is behaving, and here's how you should be doing. No, I want to change things, I want to make things better, and I want to take these problems and make solutions for myself. And I think personally I like Korean food. Okay, fine, I'm biased, I'm Korean. But I think that my mission for changing things, not taking things for what it is probably the biggest success indicator for me. And that's where I believe that I think I can change the market, change the world to just appreciate Korean culture one bit at a time.